Welcome to the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen, covering the week that was in professional wrestling. Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of the Juice Box. I am Juice Springsteen. As always, follow me on Twitter at JuicySteen. You know, the rigmarole, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, yada, yada, yada. Today's episode is actually a very special episode. Today is the 35th anniversary of arguably, the greatest television show of all time, Seinfeld. July 5th, 1989, the Seinfeld Chronicles debuted, and the rest, as they say, is history. And today, I'm going to be going over some of my favorite episodes from certain seasons. I'm going to rank the seasons as well, and, you know, maybe some other stuff we'll dive into. But let's start off with one of my favorite Jerry Seinfeld bits. According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. Death is number two. This means, to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy. And, you know, I kind of put that with podcasting. I'd much rather be talking than, or being interviewed than talking, but here I am talking to myself. And I also thought for this special episode, maybe we could have done some trivia. If only someone who potentially has similar level of love for this show as I do. Maybe even someone like Josh Isenberg, who we've won some trivia contests together.
That's correct, Juice. That's correct, Juice. Hey-o.
And there he is.
Here I am.
Josh, happy birthday, no such thing to Seinfeld. Just right out the gate, why do you love Seinfeld? How did this all happen?
It just brings everything in my life meaning. I feel bad for anybody who watches Seinfeld with me, let alone us, because in 9 seasons, I will quote every single episode of every single season, whether it's the very beginning, the Seinfeld Chronicles, or whether you're doing something, maybe you're more of a Seinfeld, season 8 fan, right? Right before the final season, maybe, you're getting excited. You want to do a little dance. You want to dance like Elaine. You want to write some checks. Maybe I survived the Andrea Doria, but at the same time, every episode, every season, everything of Seinfeld still rings true to me. And it's a timeless show. It's a show that I quite frankly are very few, if any, episodes would be canceled in 2024, Juice.
Right.
And it's exciting. It's exciting because it's exciting. And every time I do put on an episode of Seinfeld, sometimes I just go to Netflix and throw on whatever one tickles my fancy, But I also, it's an amazing show that I've been a huge fan of, having my uncle and my brother. And real funny story, my brother and uncle, when I was younger, probably 10 or 11 years old, I said, and it still holds true to this day that they make fun of me when I said this, I said, do you guys ever realize in Seinfeld when something in the beginning of the episode happens at the end? And this is me being 10 years old. Now I'm like, well, that's the point of the show. But,
that's the genius of it.
The delicate genius, yes, of course. But it's just something that never gets old to me. I've watched it hundreds of times at this point.
Hundreds of times?
Hundreds of times.
Thousands?
Thousands of times. But it's wonderful, and I'm excited to talk some Seinfeld on a very special edition of the Juice Box, and I'm thrilled to be here, my friend. Let's dive in. What are we doing here?
What do we do around here all day? Well, just speaking for myself, I was born in 93, so I was born right in the meaty part of the Seinfeld run.
Part of the curve.
That's right. And I kind of only saw the show in reruns that my parents would watch, and I was like, what is this show? Like, I had no idea what was going on, but I found Kramer to be hysterical, falling over things, and just then I became a little older and I got the DVDs and I started watching them in order and realizing how smart the show was. How, like you said, they dovetailed the beginning to the end with like sometimes all four characters' storylines all syncing up at once. And like a lot of shows would kill to have that type of writing these days.
Yeah.
And it's just so fluid. And some people will say, it's not a bingeable show. There's no story. But there are two specific seasons that have, arcing stories. But outside of that, I think week to week, and if you watch the entire series in order, you will find yourself remembering certain things that happened earlier in the show that they do reference, basically, rewarding you as a fan through the beginning of the show to the end. So I'm looking forward to touching on all these things. Before we do that, I do want to make sure that we say that this Juicebox podcast, this is a wrestling podcast. So let's start off with two wrestling references on Seinfeld. One of them being, Josh, do you have that? Before we dive into trivia, I'm just going to put you on the spot. What wrestling references are on Seinfeld?
I have Killer Kowalski,
right,
George the Animal. Yep. George the Animal Steel is
chained to the fridge like George the Animal Steel.
Exactly. And whenever Jerry describes George and his father in the garage selling computers, the steel cage death match.
That's right. And I do believe there might have been a reference to Gorgeous George, but who knows?
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous George. Yeah. I'm sure he's called him Gorgeous George through the 9 seasons.
As well as Biff. What? All right. Let's go. I'm glad you actually made it because we can do trivia here at the tail end of this. But let's just get into the nitty gritty of it all. Let's roll with. You want to do seasons first? Favorite episode from each season? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do seasons first.
The ball's in your court.
All right. Well, let's do seasons best to worst or worst to best. What do you think,
Let's do rank seasons from best to worst, but we'll start with the worst. What is your worst season? It's got to be season 1. And the only reason is just because of the lack of episodes. Yep. That's fair. And that's where I have it as well. And my second one is the second season.
Yep.
I think because some people, Seinfeld fans will put the show in thirds. The first third, second third, the third third.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons even combined are 17 episodes, and every other season is 24. So it's tough to gauge the first 2, but we'll touch on it. There's some good stuff in those first 2 seasons, but unfortunately they are the lowest ranked. What is your 7th ranked season? Because this is where it starts to get interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd have to say season 9, which is the final season of Seinfeld. Being there was a lot of shtick that in random episodes. I felt like they were trying to fit every extra character of all time in a bunch of episodes. You have Jerry going down to Florida once again. Obviously, they meet their demise and they meet all of the people that they wronged over the course of the 9 seasons in the finale.
No spoilers, Josh. Spoilers.
No spoilers.
Still, I want to go in fresh.
Fresh. It doesn't have to do anything with the plot. But anyway, so I think season 9 for me ranks number 7. What say you?
I also have season 9 in my 7th slot. It's not that it's bad. I think, a lot of people will say that seasons 8 and 9 are the, quote, worst or wacky seasons of Seinfeld. But just because Larry David's not at the helm doesn't mean that they're not good. In fact, I quite enjoy quite a bit of them in season 8. One of my favorite episodes in my top 5 that we'll talk about later is in season 9, so we'll touch on it. But that's right. My 6th ranked season, no surprise here, season 8.
Yep.
You had some good stuff. The chicken roaster, the money with Jack Klompus's final appearance. He is probably my favorite secondary character. But
Open the package, Leo.
Opening.
You
got the foundation, which is good, but it's not bad. It's just it was good. you know?
Yeah, season 8, you're right. It was good. Season 8 has a lot of kind of one-liners and like little pieces of each episode that I like. Top of the muffin to you. The summer of
Yes,
George.
it is. Oh, with Raquel Relch.
The yada yada, obviously, that was really good. But there were some that I just didn't love. I thought the pothole was kind of interesting, not that great. The Susie was okay.
I will say this: the pothole is the 150th episode of Seinfeld. Just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, look at you!
They gave away T-shirts. I don't have one.
Yeah, but I think that season 8, a lot of good pieces in each episode, just not a full season worth. To me, being a top 3 or top 4.
Right, and I also want to put for the record, seasons 8 and 9, outside of the finale episode, lose the stand-up. No more will we hear the. Well, what's the deal with?
What's the deal with April and peanuts?
It started to just be cold opens, which I learned to like after a while because some dealt with the plot, some where it's just like, Kramer, trying to park this or that. And there's so many different ones, and they're okay. They're just different. But what's your 5th ranked season? This is where we're gonna really find out what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So my 5th ranked season would be season 3. Of Seinfeld.
Me too. Look at us.
Take the pen. Yeah. And the reason being, when I see it, I see some really good episodes. For instance, I've always loved the Red Dot. I thought the alternate side is really solid, the Fix Up, but there's a few duds. And most notably to me, The Dog, which I view as one of the worst episodes of Seinfeld of all time. If they didn't have prognosis and negative, I would never watch that episode. So that's why.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, we also have a lot of really good ones. Obviously George getting a massage from the man, the pen episode, which I know is very near and dear to your heart, the subway. So I think
classics in there.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a lot more classics than a few duds, so to say. Yeah. So I have that at number 5.
I do as well. You got the Pez dispenser in this thing, the subway, the boyfriend with Keith Hernandez. Yep. So many quality episodes, but in the parking garage, which was one of those first, standalone, it's not in the apartment episodes. Although, season 2 had the Chinese restaurant. We didn't even mention that, but it's just muddled in season 2, but it's one of the classics. Season 3's got a lot of great stuff. And of course, the pen, which may or may not be my favorite episode of all time. We'll discuss that later on. What do you got for your number 4 ranked season?
So my number 4 ranked, this is a tough one between number 4 and number 3, but I think number 4 for me is going to have to go season 5. You?
Wow. No, my
number
4th ranked is season 6.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, let me hear. Okay. Yeah, let me hear what you got for 5.
So the reason that I don't have 5 higher is I really think out of the first 4 or 5 episodes that were released, I didn't like the mango. I didn't like the glasses. I thought those were very poor episodes. But then they battle back strong with episodes like the sniffing accountant, the puffy shirt, non-fat yogurt, things like that, which I love. And obviously the stall is a great episode. So. In the marine biologist, right? So you have 5 real powerhouse episodes right there in season 5. I just think that there was a few that left me to be desired. Not even talking about the pie, which I thought was an odd episode. But yeah, I think season 5 is probably, I could make a case for 5 in the next season flip-flopping for me, but I have 5 at this spot at number 4.
Wow. I will tell you later on why I think 5 is pretty good. I have 6. Once we get here, it's less about why they're bad and just not enough great to compare to the others. But season 6, the Chaperone is an okay opener. See, you don't like the mango. I think the mango is great. Yeah. Jerry and Elaine getting back together, even though a B12 shot. Your band. There's so much good stuff there. But season 6, like the understudy, I kind of enjoy. I'm not a big fan of. You got a run here of the doorman, the doodle, Diplomats Club's okay, and that kind of rings true with some of my trivia later. But just nothing too great outside of I love The Race, the mom and pop store I watch every single Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Wah, 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 wah. But yeah, to each their own. Let's go to top three.
Okay.
Because now we have some that are misplaced. Let's see. What is your third highest season?
That would be season 6.
Oh, okay. Why do you have it so high?
Yeah, all the reasons that you said, I think, speak volumes. A lot. It's really interesting because I think season 4 and 3 and 4 really have the arc of the storyline. Season 5 had good episodes. Season 6 as well. I think some of the ones in season 6 that I really enjoyed was the understudy with Bette Midler, obviously. Yep. The gang obviously going to the Super Bowl. The label maker. I thought
the label maker is a great episode.
And it's very clever too. The regifting. It's just. That's something that you consistently see, I think, in everyday life. If I have something and I don't use it for a year or two, well, guess what? That's a Christmas present next year. So I have season 6 for that. And again, like you said just a minute ago, it's not about the bad episodes. It's more about the strong episodes and how many strong episodes they have. So I have season 6 at this spot, number 3.
My number 3 ranked season is season 7. I mentioned it earlier, and the other, season that has an arc is ranked in my top 3 as well. So clearly that means a lot. This is the season. This is the season where George gets engaged. Larry's swan song, with the engagement, postponement, and Maestro back to back to back, almost could be played as like a little movie. How they're all kind of intertwined. Some of the characters you get, the Maestro, Jean-Paul, the Soup Nazi, Lloyd Braun returns.
Yep.
Not as popular, Sally Weaver.
Stan the Caddy.
Yes, Stan the Caddy. So many. Sue Ellen Mischke and Peterman, who came in at the end of season 6, he gets to really showcase the secret code. And it's just the whole arc. It's not every episode is Susan and George, will they, won't they? I'm looking at you, friends. That's the last time I mentioned that show on this episode. But, it's just they're there. And you see Susan more often than not. And as we get closer, there are those inklings of, it's coming, Jerry, it's coming. There's no stopping it. It's happening. And you wonder how my neck doesn't turn. I can't. That's not a good turn. So it's tough, what's going to happen with the engagement. Are they going to get married? And of course, probably the most shocking turn of events in the history of Seinfeld is what happens That's right. They get rid of Susan. So polarizing for sure, but I love just throughout the whole season. It's great continuity and arguably some of the best quotes. I always find myself quoting from season 7. So.
Yep, and that's why season 7 for me is my number 2.
Perfect. Number 2?
That's everything you said. Don't need to reiterate it. I think the addition of different characters, while still focusing on the main arc of that story of season 7 of how is George going to get out of the wedding, and you take the darkest turn possible on a sitcom, which I thought was a bold move, but a well-needed move. So yeah, season
bold
7,
and beautiful.
Bold and beautiful. So yeah, I have season 7 as my number 2.
And I will just briefly go over season 5 and why I think it's because it is my number 2. I think just some of the greatest episodes come out of this season. And whenever we talk, because clearly number 1 is season 4. That's what we're both going to agree with, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when I look at season 4, it's such an amazing season that kind of rises like a phoenix over Arizona. And out of nowhere, this show becomes a huge hit. The contest. We'll get to that. But season 5, you said you didn't like the mango, but within one episode, bang, the puffy shirt, the prop that's in the Smithsonian Institute.
Yep.
Certain episode, the lip reader, the non-fat yogurt, the dinner party, which I think is vastly underrated, the raincoats. And then the last 2 episodes of this season, the Hamptons and the Opposite, are arguably some of the best stuff. And I think season 5 gets overlooked. You overlooked it. So let's get into our number one. Tell me why the breakthrough season 4, is your best season of Seinfeld.
I think everything just clicked. And the end of season 3 had the cliffhanger of Kramer leaving. Yep. So it gives you that time of what's going to happen with Kramer. He comes back, obviously. I love the idea of, the trip kicking it off. Jerry and George going to find Kramer. I love realistically, the first, 5-6 episodes really are about the guys trying to put together Jerry. And then you kind of stir off a little bit with that, right? The Bubble Boys, an episode where they don't talk about that, but then you get into just absolutely incredible episodes of The Virgin, The Contest, even going The Outing. There's just so much topical, funny stuff that was clever, and they didn't really need to say it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they didn't need to, they rocked the boat in a clever way where it wouldn't offend people. Right. Even though it was uncomfortable. The implant, Elaine grabbing her breast, I think that was just classic. And really looking at all the episodes, the 24 episodes, there really isn't one that stood out to me and said, I really don't like that episode. There wasn't one that I'll always pass up. And I think every other season there's going to be one or maybe two that I'm like, I'm good with not watching that one tonight.
Yeah, man, I couldn't really say it better than that. I know for me, before Netflix and before streaming, it was all about the DVDs, and I still have them. I always will have them.
Yep.
They don't take away, there's no missing scenes from syndication. It's in the standard 4x3. There's no cropping or anything. If you go and pick one disc to take with you to a desert island, disc 2 of season 4 has the Bubble Boy, the Cheaper Letters, the Opera, the Virgin, and the Contest. I'm not sure you could pick out 5 better episodes just by picking them than you have in a row in one season. And I think that's a testament, again, to the writing. We talked about it. Some people don't like the old man. That's maybe one of the ones that aren't that great. But I love, Don Ho, Live in Honolulu, and it's my goiter, isn't it? There's a lot of good stuff in there.
And the old man is a good point. It's not the best episode, but there's still a really funny part of it, like George just not understanding how somebody can't fear death, and the other old man with Jerry, he's like, I wasn't born yesterday. I might drop dead tomorrow, but I wasn't born yesterday. There's all those little nuggets in an episode that was just an average episode. But I think season 4, you're right. Anytime I was traveling, I would take the entire season 4. Yeah. I would probably take season 6 and 7. But it's easy to watch, and there's always great pieces in every episode of that season.
Right, and I do believe that season 4 was the only one to win the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series. Outside of that, I think Frasier beat them out for the majority of Seinfeld's run. But hey, some shows can't all, they can't all. You're all winners.
You're all winners.
So, 4, 5, 7, 6, 3, 8, 9, 2, 1. Josh, what are your season's best to worst?
Oh, I just deleted them on my notes to keep up. What did I do here?
That's a shame.
I'd have to go back and listen to the Juice Box, so people go back and listen to it.
Perfect. I kind of threw you off guard there, but it made for some great audio.
You threw me a curveball.
Oh, man. All right. So we've ranked the seasons from best to worst. Let's go to our favorite episodes from each season, and then likely, once we get to our other segment here, which is our 5 personal favorites, some of those are going to double dip, if you will, so it'll be a little easier to start with each episode from each season.
Yep.
Josh, what's your favorite episode from season 1? Only 5 episodes, but, got some decent stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Joel Hornick hits a home run in Mail and Bonding. The only episode where the is not part of the actual title of the episode.
Very good.
I love that. I think going to the bank where George has to roll his change.
6,000 of these?
My job? It's that for me gets, a lot of just chuckles, and in 5 episodes.
I hate that gooey crap.
Great one. But yeah, I'll go with Mail and Bonding.
That's a stunner to me. I do like that. Like it's really all about the bank, where it's like, what was the other thing? He's like, I know a guy who went on vacation with his change.
Where'd he go, to an arcade?
Yeah, so I mean, I love all these episodes, but that wouldn't have been the one. Mine is the stakeout.
Okay.
You get Art Vandelay for the first time, even though it takes 5 or 6 different names between Art Core, Valet, which is a video podcast. You all know what we were doing. Bert Harbinson, and then Art Vandelay.
Bert Harbinson.
Sounds made up. Now let me be the architect. I could do it. You know. So that and Art Vandelay lasts all the way into the finale, where the judge overseeing the case is Arthur Vandelay.
Yep.
So that and just the premise of, Elaine and Jerry had broken up. Who knows when that actually happened, because they never really just say that. Yeah. But it's going to a party where you want to maybe talk to somebody else, but you can't because the girl you just broke up with is there. And I love the awkwardness of it, and I think it's a great episode from season 1. Season 2, I will start out. Yep. My favorite episode from this 12-episode season is the baby shower.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you get George trying to seek revenge on a girl that wronged him before with one date, and it all blows up not only in his face, but the thing he wants to say most to that girl, Mary Contardi, says to Jerry, and it's one of the greatest runs by a secondary or really just a one-off character in the series. And also it has the very great the shootout sequence where Jerry has a dream of getting the illegal cable installed, Mr. Seinfeld. And I had to tell him, Jerry, they were on to us from the beginning, and he just that turning out to be a dream sequence. And for Larry Charles to get away with killing off the main character in a dream sequence on a sitcom, genius. So, yes. Josh, what's your favorite from season 2?
My name is Bob. The Heart Attack, baby. I think that was my favorite season 2. Tor Ekman, obviously. Cleveland 117, San Antonio 109. A lot of just random things in there. I like this because it really dipped outside of the first season, and there was something about this episode that I felt they did more outside of the apartment. They had another apartment. They had, the hospital, his Blackhawks jacket. There was
Susan Davis.
Susan Davis. Now, come on. Yeah. There was
like we're gonna be running into you.
And I'm running into you. Hi, George. How's it going? But yeah, this will be my favorite for season 2, The Heart Attack.
That's a great episode. Tor Ekman. What is your favorite episode from season 3?
I might throw you on a curveball in this one.
Okay, I'm here. I'm ready for it.
I'm going to do the fix-up.
Oh, acting. I love the fix-up.
Yep. Great episode. The back and forth, I think, with Elaine and Jerry, whenever George talks to Jerry about what he's looking for, and Cynthia talks to Elaine about what she's looking for and how it syncs up, and them being wingmen, or whatever you want to call it at that point. The condom factory, I think, is just so funny, and it's a little more risky than a lot of the episodes we've seen previously to this. So all that say, I think George just does an they fight. It's just there's just so much in this.
Just episode. you hitting that high pitch before you didn't even finish the quote set me for a loop there.
What do you mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna go the Fix Up season 3 favorite episode. You?
Take the pen.
Take the pen.
The pen, man. This episode, I fell in love with it at a young age, and it stuck with me as I've gotten older. This is one of the episodes that not only doesn't have Kramer in it, which he also was not in the Chinese restaurant, but it doesn't have George in it. And some people, and I know, Josh, you've said it before to me, I don't know how you like an episode that doesn't have them, but this was, first of all, I go with sometimes in life, you're not always with every friend that you have. Yep. And for once, they go to Florida. And if, you take George and Kramer for this episode away, you get introduced to Jerry's, parents' condo, and we've met the parents, but now you get some of these great side characters. Jack Klompus, arguably number one for me. A guy who is friends with Morty, maybe just because they have to be. Yeah. And it's just so heartwarming. The pen, take the pen, and then as soon as it all happens, Helen hates it and says everybody's going to talk about it. And I think for a lot of episodes on Seinfeld, they present the older characters as, they should be more distinguished and should have more decorum and respect. And when in reality, they are most immature characters in the entire series. So,
yep.
I love everything about the episode. So the pen is my favorite from season 3. Josh, season 4, we said it was the best. What episode out of the best season is your favorite?
Got to be the contest. I think it's one of the best episodes of all time. I'm going to go the contest. Don't even need to explain it. No. It's so clever. They don't need to say what's actually happening. Did it take me until I was like 13 or 14 years old to understand what was going on? Absolutely. But I just a hell of an episode. One of the best, I think, television episodes of any show I've ever seen.
John.
Yeah, John.
My favorite episode from season 4, it's a Junior Mint. This is a wacky episode. Yeah, every episode here, you can't hate on the Junior Mint. It's very out there. Some people say the Bubble Boy was the one that kind of jumped the shark. The Junior Mint, fat starving artist with triangles, gets a splenectomy, but you will be using a retractor. Are you asking because you saw 2020 last night? The hijinks, just the visual. I've seen it as a painting of Jerry and Kramer in the viewing gallery.
Voice paintings
with the with the triangles, with the scrubs on, just looks so funny. And I love their hijinks throughout the show. Later on they're bootlegging. I love Jerry and Kramer antics, maybe the best outside of Jerry and George. So Junior Mint for me. Season 5, Josh, another great season. What's your favorite?
The Sniffing Accountant, one of my favorite, if not, maybe, we'll see, we'll find out. One of my favorite episodes of Seinfeld of all time.
Mohair?
What's that?
I said mohair?
Oh, mohair, yes, absolutely. I think this episode for me, it was just when Jerry and Newman are kind of together working, the stupid interaction about the floss in the car. I need you here. I might need you to get me a soda. That's the first time I remember. That's the first time I remember him and Newman really being civil. Barry Prophet, I think, is such an interesting character. There's just so much about it. Kramer taking a picture of him on the toilet. And Newman being chased off by the woman's boyfriend after he tries to touch her fat. There's just so much. George Farkas, the bra salesman. I mean, I can go on and on.
Johnny.
But yeah, I love this episode. Nothing makes me laugh more than "Here's to Feeling Good All the Time," cigarette and beer.
Yes. Arguably one of the most classic scenes in the entire series is that scene.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I love the mohair. Kramer's glasses when he has the duffel bag. How many times, Josh, we go to a bar? I have a brewski, Charlie.
Name's
these are so many. We didn't even bring it up in the beginning outside of watching the show with other people. Just being out together, we are rattling off quotes. We're using quotes as if they're real dialogue because the dialogue reigns true.
Yep. So, absolutely.
That's right. My favorite episode from season 5, and it might be in my top 5 for favorite all time, The Hamptons.
Yeah.
They're, I saw Jane topless, shrinkage.
She's got a great body, buddy.
Yeah, man, we've said that quote so many times. Again, I love the episodes where they're kind of out of the apartment and they're out on the Hamptons and, it's bound to go wrong. So many great things from here. I think an underrated moment is when the police officer comes in to, tell on Kramer for, figure out who stole the lobsters. And he's like, who is it? And he's like, oh, it's that guy right there. And Kramer's like, hey, how you doing? Even though he's about to get cheesed by the police officer. So, man, the Hamptons are great, and then you get the tomato in the face at the end from Rachel. So let's go season 6. Josh, what's your favorite episode from season 6? We haven't had the same episode, by the way. I'm pretty proud of that. I like having the different stuff here.
Oh, absolutely. I think season 6, man, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I always go back to loving the switch. Jerry being a non-laugher, the irony there, the roommate. I mean,
funny.
It's just so topical. It's funny because I also love, Kramer, or excuse me, George dating the model, right? And she is bulimic, which is true. Of course I'm concerned. Meals. It's my money. Like he's paying for her meal. He's not concerned about her. It just shows you how horrible of a human being he is. But it's funny because I think sometime in somebody's life, whether you're dating someone and you see the hot friend, you're like, damn it, how do I make that happen? Make the switch. Never works out,
Yeah, it's impossible.
My favorite episode for sure in season 6.
And I mean, man, one of my favorite quotes. This is like discovering plutonium by accident. I'm not an orgy guy. Oh man. My favorite is from season 6. It's gonna be The Race.
Racing Jerry.
Oh man, finally he dates someone named Lois. Jerry does, being a lover of Superman. You get the Superman song at the end during the actual race with Duncan Meyer.
It starts with Duncan.
I'm honestly, outside of the pen scene, I think in the pen, I think the meeting for the first time in quote 20 years.
Jerry.
Well, you got a little hole in your sneaker there. What is that? Canvas?
Oh, the big race.
The big race.
George, I haven't seen you so long. Season, by the way, that was my number 2.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's so perfectly done. You get the communist propaganda, Coleman's department store. Santa is not a commie. So many good things. But yeah, the race in general, just the slow motion of Jerry running is amazing. And I don't know. It's great. It's great to watch it during Christmas as well. So
absolutely.
Let's get to season 7. I'm going to start out by saying it. My favorite episode of season is the 7. It's my favorite episode of that season. He's having sex with a cousin. All these terrible names that he tries to come up with. 7 somehow sticks with Ken and Carrie, and they're going to run with it. And, George is pissed, but then they bring up, you've already postponed the engagement. Who knows if you're ever going to have a child? So, yep. And then you get the cut the bike down the middle. A lot of good stuff in the 7. So that's my favorite episode of season 7. Josh, what say you?
That is it as well. My favorite episode of season 7 is absolutely everything you said. It's just such a great episode. I think, the fact that he's trying to give them alternative names, and then Jerry's like, why don't you name him Mickey? And George laughs at him like that's the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Mickey. And it wasn't him slipping him a Mickey, but
Mickey.
But yep, that's it. 7.
How about season 8? Now in the AD after David years.
I'm gonna have to go with the jerk store called "They're Running Out of You." The comeback.
Oh yeah,
love that episode. My brother and I love that episode. We watch it all the time whenever we're hanging out. That's our go-to episode of season 8. George just so bitter, trying to get back. The zoo called you due back by 6. Just tell him it's with his wife. And then at the very end, his wife was in a coma. So great. It ties everything together from beginning to end so fluently.
Oh man, yeah, it's a great episode. Isn't that with Shellback?
Shellback, yeah, absolutely. And every time my brother came to visit me in Florida, I'd pick him up at the airport. I'd roll the windows down. I'd yell, "Shellbox!" Yeah, just really not even back. Shellbox for whatever.
Oh man, yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, awesome.
And you get Milos, the terrible tennis player.
Milos. Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the comeback as well. My favorite episode out of season 8, however, the chicken roaster.
Okay.
Kanye.
Vile weed.
Vile weed. Family feast. Your buddy Seth stopped by. Oh, what did he have to say? Oh, yeah, he was fired.
He was fired.
Oh, man. Just the red light in the shape of a chicken. And then just the subversion of Kramer becoming Jerry and Jerry becoming Kramer is genius. I thought he was Kramer's friend. Well, he came over last night, 3 a.m. We got to talking. He sells Russian hats down Battery Park, $40.
$40.
So great episode. I think Kenny Rogers Roasters is still around, but they're not in America anymore, unfortunately.
Sad times.
I think we have to go to Malaysia to find one. So.
All right. I guess we're making a trip to Malaysia.
Malaysia. So season 9, the final season. Josh, what's your favorite episode of the final season of Seinfeld?
Come on out here, Celia. The Merv Griffin Show. My favorite. One of my favorite episodes. It is great. I think there's a lot of nostalgia for Jerry, being a guy who is being in stand-up. His last season, we always talk about how he did a lot of stuff with Letterman and, all of his late-night appearances throughout his amazing career. Kramer is unbelievable in this episode.
It's his episode.
It is just a powerhouse episode from Kramer. I think it's, even the squirrel, with George running over the squirrel. I think that was funny enough because they had Jim Fowler at the end. And,
where are all the cameras?
Where are all the cameras? Exactly. So Kramer, you're reading off.
We'll take a quick break.
And we're back. Yeah. So that's it for season 9.
Season 9, great episode. Merv Griffin's cigar. But my favorite episode has to be The Dealership. There's a mental hospital right near here. Twix, Skittles, a nickel. There's so many quotable things.
$100,000
they'd change the name from $100,000 bar to $100,000. And her best line, "Hey Willie, check it out, free candy."
Hey, check it out, free candy. They're all Twix.
Yeah, the fact that he not only could he not get a Twix from the vending machine, jump, but how did he get all that money to then buy 8 Twix? Didn't eat one of them, and then Saul, Mo, or Lem.
They're all crooks.
So and again, another episode that's not in the apartment. I think that's a thing I kind of enjoy is when it's not just sitting in the apartment. They're out doing something. The gas gauge goes below E. Sometimes I let it go below the E. One time I did it, the tank was full and I never got to thank them. I don't know who did it. Oh, man. So hell of a list there. So now we can, I thought it was going to be a longer segment, the following one, but it's going to be pretty easy because everything was in my season list. My 5 favorite episodes of Seinfeld. Josh, what's your 5 favorite episodes from 5 to 1?
All right, ready for it? 5 to 1. Here we go. Number 5 hasn't been mentioned.
Okay.
But the Soup Nazi.
Why do you like? If you didn't mention it, you can bring it up.
Yeah, it's just. It's a classic.
Yeah.
You have Kassem. The entire part of it is just genius in my mind. They're so obsessed with that. The armoire obviously is a great sideline where she finds side storyline where she finds the recipes. She has such vindication about, she found it, she can expose him. So, and it's just such a classic episode. I think if anybody's watched Seinfeld if anybody has not watched Seinfeld, they know what the Soup Nazi is,
I was going to say that might be the episode that's most popular, where if you don't even know Seinfeld, you probably have heard of the Soup Nazi. So
exactly. Yep.
Good call there. Keep going.
Yep. Number 4, Merv Griffin, as we just talked about. Number 3, The 7. Number 2, The Contest. And my number 1, The Sniffing Accountant.
Wow. 9, 7, 7, 4, and 5 are where your seasons land. I like that.
There you go.
You're all over, but you're leaning towards the back half, which is fascinating. But hey, there's a lot of good stuff in the final seasons that we mentioned that already.
Hit me with yours.
Your Sniffing Accountant number 1 is incredible to me, but that's what I love about this show and just having you on board is the different takes that we have here. From 5 to 1, I've got The Race, The Dealership, The Junior Mint, the Hamptons, and number 1, by no surprise, the Pen. And I mentioned all 5 of these episodes already, so I will refrain from them. But if you haven't seen the Pen and you're really looking to spice up your Florida old person shtick, you got to watch the Pen.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
Yeah, so with that being said, we're going to end this great Seinfeld birthday 35th anniversary spectacular, and they are real and they are spectacular. Josh, you and myself have been to 4 Seinfeld 4 trivia contests, and we have killed it. We have won each contest, and I cannot say this and stress this enough. I could not win those contests without you, and I don't think you could win those contests without me. I think we're the perfect match for these contests. Wouldn't you
got that straight, Junior.
I agree.
Let me do this. Let me knock off my 5 to you.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you knock off your 5 to me. How's that sound?
Great. So, but just to preface, I asked Josh to come up with 5 trivia questions, however you want, multiple choice, multiple answer, and give them to me. This is not for any sort of stake in the game. I acknowledge how great Josh is. So, this is all for fun. So, Josh, let's hear what questions you got for me.
Question 1.
Yeah.
Although appearing in only 1 episode, this character left a lasting impression when he open-lip kissed Elaine, questioning Elaine whenever she thought, does he want to take their relationship to another level? What is this character's name?
So this is the open-lip kiss guy?
That's correct.
Oh, man.
Coming up hot, baby. Fire and first.
Is it Greg, the flyboy?
That's correct. 1 for 1. All right. You
ready? Threw me off. I was losing it there. Go ahead.
That's a tough one, yeah.
It is a very tough one.
So George and Jerry in the stock tip invest in Sendrex. How much money did George and Jerry invest together in this stock?
Well, he said he's like 5,000, 10,000, 5,000. I'm gonna say. Oh man. I'm gonna say. Was it that much? I'm gonna say 5,000. They do 2,500 apiece.
That is correct.
Whew.
That was a tough one because he says 5, 10, 5, and then they both do 2,500. Yep. You got it all situated on that one. 2 for 2.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. This is probably an easy one for you. The next 2 might be pretty easy. I'll save the one for last. I think is the toughest.
Okay.
In the Merv Griffin episode, Elaine has a stain on her jacket. What does she say the stain looks like?
Oh, well, George says Art Garfunkel, but she says Fidel Castro.
Correct. Yeah, I wanted to give you one after those 2 potential brain teasers. Okay.
Okay.
And these are all because of some of my favorite episodes. In the comeback episode, what company does Riley go to after leaving the New York Yankees? And what city does he relocate to?
Firestone in Akron, Ohio. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Boom. There it is. And the last one. This might be the hardest one. I did not know.
Okay. Oh, my God.
In the Chaperone episode, in Yankee Stadium, they introduce 3 women that are competing in the Miss America beauty pageant. What states do they represent?
Miss Rhode Island, Miss North Carolina, and Miss Texas?
That is incorrect.
Oh, man.
Miss Rhode Island, as we know.
Yeah.
Miss Connecticut.
Oh.
Miss North Dakota.
Oh, wow. You got me.
Yeah, I got you on 1. All right, so I hope I can get 2 or 3 of yours correct.
Okay, and I think you can, and I'm not going to judge them as harshly because mine were more of multiple answer, and I'm almost more interested in seeing how many you get instead of assuming that you have to get them all. So we'll just play by that.
All right.
So in the spirit of trivia, Seinfeld has referenced and multiple characters have watched the show Jeopardy numerous times on the show.
Okay.
I'm going to count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There are 9 answers that are shouted out by characters watching Jeopardy. How many of those do you think you can name? And just start rattling them off. I'd like to hear it.
So in Seinfeld, you're saying that they answer questions on Jeopardy, right?
Yeah, so I'll lay it out like this. Kramer watches Jeopardy in The Virgin. What answers does he come up with?
Okay, I got you. Okay, yeah. So let's see. When George is smart, and that's the abstinence episode.
Abstinence, yep.
He goes, what is chicken Kiev?
That's one, yeah.
Okay. Kramer.
Yeah.
What are the ones that Kramer lists? I'm trying to think. Let's see. Which ones? I'm references. I'm trying to think.
There's a person that he names.
Yeah. Here comes the George. Here comes the George. I don't even know what he says there, but he says that.
That's Here Comes the Judge.
The Judge. Okay. I didn't. Yeah.
Yep. So
okay.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Another one. Latvian. Doesn't Jerry ask George as he's going Latvian Orthodox, Latvius is the son of which apostle? Is that a Jeopardy? Because he says I'm going to use that in form of a question, but I guess that's not necessarily.
Yes, but I like that pull, but no, he's just asking him to smarten him up before the test that he cheats on.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's not actually from Jeopardy. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let me see.
I mean, this is kind of tough, but I'll give you. I'll give you
these. Yeah. So
you want me to give you one?
No, give me a second here. Okay. Who is Joseph Cotton?
Okay, yeah, that was the person.
Oh, what is pie? Giddy up. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Let's see.
There's a dance.
What is the cha-cha? Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
And so you've completed all of Kramer's.
Okay, I've completed all of Kramer's.
George's.
Yeah. George's. I got the first one there. What is chicken Kiev? Let's see here. Man, there's how many of George's does he have?
5
How
total.
many does he answer?
5.
Oh, he answers 5. Oh shoot. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Man, that's a tough one. I'm drawing a blank.
I got nothing.
Is it all in the same episode, or are there multiple episodes for George?
Yeah. It's all the same.
So they're all in the abstinence episode.
Because then he's like, "Is this a repeat?"
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's definitely okay. So it's in the abstinence episode.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with. So what is chicken key? I'm just trying to think of like the succession of him answering the questions.
There's one that's like, I think there's one that's the easiest, and then there's a couple that are, I mean, they're difficult for sure.
Let me think of one. Let me see if I can get one more. I'm not going to get all of them, but I'm going to try to.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. That's a good one. Damn, yeah. I'm going to go with. I'm drawing a blank. Fire them out.
All right. So we got what is Borax?
Borax. Okay.
And then who is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle?
Okay.
Pericles.
Okay.
And then my favorite, which I thought was the most obvious, what is Tungsten or Wolfram?
What is Tungsten or Wolfram? Yeah. Good one. Okay.
Okay. So that's the first one. This one should be a little easier.
Okay.
There have been, and I guess I could preface it with how many there are. So there are 4 different "I don't want to be" quotes from Jerry Seinfeld. What does Jerry not want to be?
I don't want to be a pirate.
Yeah.
That's obviously an easy one. I don't want to be Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's 2. Let's see here. I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to be Switzerland. I don't want to be a cowboy.
Yep. One more. Probably the toughest one.
Oh, and then we'll be a latex salesman. That's to George. Did he say something along the lines of, I don't want to be an orgy guy? No, I'm not.
No, he just says, I'm not, yeah. I'll give you a Susan quote to help you out. How could he be so vain?
I wish that would help me out right now.
Because George tells him a secret, tells her a secret.
His waist size, yeah. I don't want to be a 32.
Boom! There it is.
Okay.
There you go. So that was that. You're back in it. You're back in it.
It was waist size. That's weird. Yeah.
That's right. How about this? Not counting the finale.
Okay.
What character has the most time in between their two appearances?
Oh, wow.
So a character appears in a certain episode early on, and then nothing happens, and then they appear later on.
Ooh,
and you can't count the finale because a lot of people come back in that, and it's nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll give you a hint here. This person shows up in season 3, and then does not come back until season 8.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think of season 3 Seinfeld character. Oh man, that's a tough.
Towards the end of season 3.
Okay, so he's in this person's individual's in season 3 and season 8.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear any keyboard clicks.
You're not hearing any keyboard clicks. That's too long for me to do, and I have to go to work soon. So, give me a second. It's not Clompus because he's in a couple of episodes.
That's right. You're on the right track.
Is it? No, he's not in that one. Mike Moffat's in a couple in the middle. No. It's not Keith. No, Keith Hernandez is what? No. I'm like trying to go through each episode.
Yeah, some people might say that you've already answered it, but you said it was not, so I don't know.
It's not. Is it Keith Hernandez?
No, it is not Keith Hernandez.
Mike Moffat?
Bingo.
Really? Oh, season 3. Okay.
Parking space and the Susie.
I thought he was in more. Okay, interesting. Okay,
well,
yeah.
I know. That's it. Isn't that incredible?
Wow. Okay, good one.
All
That's
right.
a good question.
In the spirit of July 4th, being this is July 5th, can you name me all 3 Kramer hot dog references on the show?
Kramer hot dog references?
Yes, where Kramer and a hot dog interact.
Okay, so the episode where he eats the hot dog from the silent era.
Yep, that's one.
Like a hot dog, please, you out of your mind. So
perfectly sane for me.
He throws a hot dog at Reggie Miller at a basketball game.
That's a 4th one. You got me there. I did not have that. I forgot about throw a hot dog at Reggie Miller. Yeah. Okay, they got 2 other ones. That's wow. Good on you. See?
He gets a Papaya King hot dog whenever he's waiting in line.
A Papaya King hot dog.
Papaya King hot dog.
Yeah, and then one more.
Interesting.
I'm just going in.
Does he say something? Well, let me think here.
No. He can't say anything.
Because he throws the hot dog up in the LeBaron. Not in the LeBaron, next to the LeBaron.
No, that's still the silent era.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know the last one that you have.
It's a cold open where he puts the hot dog in his mouth because they said you don't allow food in. And Jerry's like, I'm just going in. Like, you don't have to do this.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
The last one, Larry David, on-screen appearances. There are 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. Can you name them?
Okay, so he is the
on screen. It doesn't have to be an audio because we're not counting, the Chinese restaurant. What did she say? What did she say?
Yeah, absolutely. So he has he's with Frank as his lawyer.
I'm Frank Costanza's lawyer.
Obviously with Steinbrenner, that's just
the Chinese woman.
So,
I don't count Steinbrenner.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he's that one. He is in the episode of the heart attack, Flaming Globes of Sigmund.
That's right. This is just as you prophesized.
He gives money back to George with the dollar bills with the lips on it. Excuse me,
sorry,
Your Honor, or Your Majesty. Yeah.
We don't accept bills with lipstick on the president. That's 3.
Exactly. Yeah. And then do I need one more then?
You need 2 more.
2 more. Okay.
Yep.
Larry David is in the group whenever they arrest Kramer.
Jerry,
He's
George.
in the background. Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
Like
That's the keys.
Yep, the keys right on the corner of like the cops or whatever, because you see Jerry and George right in the middle, and then he's just like kind of standing there.
Him and Larry Charles, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Oh, Larry Charles, really?
That's right. And Larry Charles is also with Larry in this other one that you haven't named yet.
Really?
Yes.
You don't see him at the Chinese restaurant.
No.
So no.
Okay, so the one that you just said was the keys. That's the end of episode or season 3. How about in the end of another season? Like very end.
Doesn't? Oh yeah, he's on the boat with
Keep fighting, matey.
Yes. What the hell? When Russell
Dalrymple.
Yeah, Russell Dalrymple. Yeah. So he's getting him to tell the stories of Elaine or whatever. Yeah.
I'll write to her, Elaine Bettis. Yeah, but Larry Charles is also on there. It's just those 3 guys on the raft. Goodbye. All right, so that's great. I think we have gone toe to toe the coup d'etat. We're getting hit by sweat. But I do have a bonus question, purely because it's fun and we're Pittsburgh native guys here.
You got 2 minutes and I gotta leave you. So
that's fine. What is the only reference to Pittsburgh said on Seinfeld?
The only Pittsburgh reference on Seinfeld.
The city Pittsburgh is mentioned by name. Yes. It's one of my favorite characters, but not Jack Klompus.
I'm trying to think of episodes that you like, because I feel like you probably watched it and was like, oh, look at that. They talked about Pittsburgh.
And I mean, it's sure, but no, it's not that I recently watched it. Come on.
Can you give me a hint?
Come on, Mexico City.
Okay. Yeah. That's an easy hint, though.
Well, you said you had to go to work.
That's true.
I never had a job.
I do. I have to go to Pittsburgh actually for work right now. So.
Okay, so what's the what? Can you at least tell me who said it?
Is it? I feel like it's the voiceover in the airport, but it's not.
No, it's not. I gave it the guy.
You're asking me the guy's name then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I almost swore there. What the hell is his name? You doing,
you little piece of?
What the hell is his name?
Nobody hustles.
Give me a second. Oh, Earl Hafler.
Nobody hustles Earl Hafler.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that flight to Pittsburgh takes off before my flight to Houston.
Hafler. All right.
That's right. I wish I
Big
could Daddy.
Now after that brain buster.
I'll pour you a shot of Hennigan's. How about that?
HENNI.
I've been using
That's
it as
why
a
I love
paint
you.
thinner.
13-9.
15-9. Although 13-9 is funnier because Pitt sucks.
Pitt in West Virginia, yeah.
That's right.
I'm all over the place, Juice. Let me leave.
That's right. Well, I'll bid you adieu, Josh. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to Seinfeld. No such thing. For Josh, I'm Juice. Happy 35th anniversary to the greatest show of all time, Seinfeld, right here on the Juice Box. That was the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to subscribe to the Juice Box wherever you listen to podcasts.